Welcome back, and we're in part 5 of our conversation for a better world with Rob. Rob, before the break, we're talking about the pop-ups with purpose, and you absolutely need the community to let you know where there is a building that has been vacant for a while, rather than talking amongst themselves and complaining like, we've got homelessness and no one's doing anything. So I guess firstly, you're getting a broader profile out there.
Yeah.
And are you getting more and more businesses coming to you and asking, please, how can we help? Can you talk more about those?
Well, the more exposure we get, the more people reach out to us and say,
Yep.
how can we help you?
Yep.
And there's a lot of conversations happening. In fact, as I said, we just had one last week with Kent Removals. They saw what we were doing. They came to a function. They said, our values align. How do we help you? And then when I met the MD, he said, Rob, I'm all on board. We're all across the country because private sector companies can make decisions straight away.
Yep.
Public companies who we are talking to take a bit of time to go through their processes.
Yep.
But it's all about value alignment.
Yep.
And I think compassionate capitalism captures the values of the majority of Australian businesses. Profit and purpose are not mutually exclusive, and you can run a successful business and give back. But the ultimate benefit that drops out is that staff get so engaged. Staff get more engaged with doing things for free than doing things for profit. And that's where that balance comes across, and that's how we build community. That's how we build belonging, and that's how we build loyalty. It's actually a win-win-win. It's a bit of a no-brainer, to be quite frank with you.
Well, as you possibly know then, because you used the word belong, we actually have 2 primary needs. We have the need to belong, as in being part of, family, community, whatever, and the need to contribute. So, there are so many people out there who maybe aren't working at the moment, they're looking for employment or, whatever. Is there any way that they can contact you to assist in some way?
The thing we have to always say is everything we look at it is at count. How do we do it at scale?
Yep.
Right? Individuals with their well-meaning intent, they say,
Yep.
I'm happy to volunteer. Well, we've got to do things with a licensed builder. They need to have licensed trades. As much as people can actually help, it becomes problematic because we have to do this at scale.
Yeah.
So the aim is really the corporates that
Okay.
have, and it doesn't matter what business you're in. One of the projects we had a local cafe run by a church that came down to feed everybody after work. Right? So
okay.
everyone can take part in this process.
Yeah.
We can all contribute in some way, shape or form
Yeah.
to reshaping business as business actually cares. And that is something that everyone can actually do. And I'm sort of encouraging people to reach out. With regards to the buildings though, because we come from a building developer background, not every building suits, right? Because we are doing this pro bono. If the building's too dilapidated, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But if one requires a paint job, right, or carpet and doesn't require much work, and we have to do that value assessment, then we go ahead and get it done.
Flooring?
Flooring, Interface provides all our tiles.
Okay.
Right, 4 tiles.
Yeah.
So the more corporates that come on board and we have this database, then we can just call them up in respective states where we found a building and just make it happen. And that's the beauty of the private sector, in my view.
So when this was first conceived in 2019, and it's now 6 years later, and I know that you're a very, left brain, let's get it done bloke, but have you sat back recently and gone, oh my gosh, like have you looked at it from that human aspect of, because what you're doing is huge.
Look, we've got a long way to go. I don't sit back and reflect because, again, we've got a long way to go. But there are some emotional moments that sort of you do reflect on. And in fact,
Okay, tell me.
one of the things I'd like your listeners to do is look up the documentary Undercover.
Yep.
That's now on Netflix.
Which I've watched it, by the way. Amazing. Yep.
Narrated by Margot Robbie. And it's a story about women over 50 becoming the fastest growing kind of homeless. Directed by Sue Thompson, and Adam Farrington Williams was the producer. I'm in there a little bit, but it's all about women. But why I'm saying that is that there was one, when we were filming in one of our buildings, the Lake House, and, there was a lady there and she said to me, and sometimes I still get a bit emotional, she said, can I give you a hug?
Oh.
And I said, sure, I'm Italian, right? I'll give her a hug. So I gave her a hug and she didn't want to let go.
Oh, wow. How did you feel?
Well, I still feel a bit emotional and teary about it because you don't think about these things. But hugs free.
Mm,
And how much value did that give that person?
mm,
What did it cost me?
yeah.
Right? But she
Yeah.
just didn't want to let go.
Yeah.
So those sort of moments there make me think that we're doing some good things, but I've got no time to waste. We're here for a short time.
I love it.
Let's make a difference, and everyone's doing this together. It's not me, by the way. There's a whole
No, I
organisation,
understand that.
and there's people behind it. So it is becoming a national private sector movement.
Rob, I understand that, but guess what? You are the driver of this. And it's okay sometimes to just go, wow. You know,
Yeah, I can do that. They can
I'll
do
do
that
it
after
for-
I'm dead,
I'll do
right?
it for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, we've discovered, look, it's the more you learn, the more you think we have to do something because our grandkids are going to be living in a different world. And we're so unique with Australia. We're an island. We've got food. We've got so. We have to set our future up. And everyone must have fundamental human needs met, which is shelter.
Yes.
That way they can become productive citizens.
Yes.
And if we were starting Australia today, the first thing you do, the same as a mining company, what's the first thing miners do? Build housing. You must have that fundamental human need met. But because we live in a market, people think, oh, the market will solve the housing problem. Not if it's uneconomical.
No.
And we've had market failure in that uneconomic bit. And that's where government must step in. And yes, we've had some issues with costs and building costs, and we've had a bit of a bad patch, right? So things are not economically viable today, right? This is when government should step in because we cannot not build sufficient housing during a housing crisis.
I'll leave that to you with the government. I want to come back to Undercover.
Yeah.
How was that conceived? Who came up with doing that doco?
Well, it wasn't me. I was just, again, through that serendipitous events.
Yeah.
The EA I was using at the time knew the producer and anyway, just the way that life works.
Yeah.
So I was approached and said, do you want to be involved in this film? We're going to do it about what you guys are doing. But eventually it morphed into actually doing a story about women over 50. And Sue Thompson wanted specifically to do something about women. She's been dying. So again, a confluence of opportunities, just like this meeting, that resulted. They're now close friends now in doing a documentary called Undercover. They've just done one called Careless. That's also going to be, which is about the aged care system. A beautiful documentary that ended up being, and it wasn't started off this way, a story about Sue and her mum, who's entering into that retirement age and the whole aged care system. Because it's all about fundamental human needs, shelter.
Yeah.
It comes back to shelter.
Yeah.
So, look, I just encourage any corporate out there that wants to contribute to help in a small way Australia's housing crisis, not for them, but the future of our country and for their grandkids, because otherwise we are heading for disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a couple more questions, so we'll take a break and come back with the last part of our conversation with Rob. Stay with us.